Hey, I just want to take a moment before we begin. Life is this strange, beautiful journey we're all stumbling through, trying to figure out our place, our purpose, and the people we're meant to walk with. And today, I want to speak from a place that's honest, soft, and full of gratitude. This message is for my future wife. Yeah, you. Wherever you are right now, smiling, dreaming, learning, healing, I want you to know something. This end of February, there's a big surprise waiting for you. Not just a gift, not just a moment, but a promise. A promise wrapped in love, patience, and the belief that what's meant to be always finds its way. I'm not perfect and I don't expect perfection from you. I just believe in two souls choosing each other again and again, even when life gets heavy. And I hope when the surprise reaches you, you feel how deeply you're already valued, even before we meet, even before our story truly begins. I want to begin by speaking from the quietest part of my heart, a place that often doesn't find words easily, a place that feels the weight and beauty of life all at once. Sometimes when we think about love, we imagine it in grand gestures and fireworks or declarations, in moments that demand attention, that shout their presence. But the love I feel for you, my future wife, is quieter. It is steady. It moves through patience and anticipation, through hope and belief in something that has not yet fully arrived, but is already shaping my soul. The end of February holds something for you, something carefully prepared, something that carries not just a surprise, but a reflection of the way my heart has been moving quietly toward you, even when I didn't know exactly who you were or where you were. It is a gentle proof that love can wait, that love can grow, that love can exist in preparation and in thoughtfulness, long before it is realized in presence. I imagine you in ways that are tender and detailed, even though I have not yet met you. I imagine the light that touches your face when you wake in the morning, the softness of your hair against your skin, the curve of your smile when it appears without effort, without an audience, simply because something inside you is pleased, content, alive. I imagine your laughter, not the kind you perform for the world, but the kind that escapes in a room where you feel safe, where your soul can exhale freely. I imagine your eyes, the way they hold stories, the way they soften when you feel deeply, the way they reflect both your strength and your vulnerabilities. Every detail, every imagined movement is a reminder that love is not about perfection, but about noticing the small, fragile, extraordinary things that make someone wholly themselves. And in noticing you, even in imagination, I have begun to know love in its truest form, patient, reverent, tender. The world often rushes us toward love in a way that can feel hasty, that can make us fear we are missing the right time or the right person. But there is a different rhythm that I want for us, a rhythm that waits, that prepares, that understands that the depth of connection is measured not by speed, but by intentionality. The surprise waiting for you at the end of this February is not just an event or an object, it is a symbol of that rhythm. It is a reflection of care, thought, and presence, designed not to impress, but to honor. It is crafted from the quiet understanding that love is about being attuned to the soul of someone, about choosing them in the small, unseen ways before choosing them in the visible moments. I want this surprise to feel like a gentle hand reaching out, like a soft breath beside yours, like the first warmth of sunlight after a long, quiet winter. I imagine your life, your daily movements, even the routines that may seem mundane to the world. Perhaps you are waking early to watch the day begin. Perhaps you are pausing over coffee, savoring the quiet moments before the noise of life arrives. Perhaps you are walking through streets unnoticed by most, but deeply alive in your thoughts, your dreams, your reflections. And in these moments unknown to you, I have been present in spirit, preparing, waiting, imagining, feeling, learning to love someone I have not yet fully met in the physical sense, but have known in a profound emotional way. This is the paradox of loving you before we meet. Knowing the depth of connection is not bound by time or physical proximity, but by the resonance of hearts that are attuned, even at a distance, across the unseen spaces of the world. I think about the surprise itself, and it is not about grandeur or spectacle. It is not about wealth or status or anything the world measures as significant. It is about intention, about the thoughtfulness that comes from truly seeing someone, from honoring them, from wishing to give them a moment that makes them feel profoundly known. Love is not about making noise. Love is about making a home for someone inside your heart and offering them a glimpse of that home in ways that matter. And so this February, the surprise I hold for you is a gesture of that love, a love that waits, that anticipates, that respects your pace, your journey, your story. I imagine your experience is both joyful and painful, and I want you to know that none of them are unnoticed. Every moment you have endured, every challenge you have faced, every tear you have shed has been shaping the person you are. And it is that person, fully realized in all your complexities, that I long to honor. The love I feel for you is not about changing you or asking you to be different. It is about embracing every layer of you, every shadow and light, every strength and vulnerability. The surprise is a reflection of that embrace, a way of saying that the woman you are, with all the beauty and depth and struggles that come with being human, is enough and profoundly cherished. Sometimes I imagine the quiet moments we will share, the simple ones, the ones that make the heart rest and the spirit feel at home. I imagine sitting beside you in a quiet room, the world moving outside, unnoticed, and simply being together in presence, in attention, in awareness. I imagine your hand in mine, not in a dramatic gesture, but in a soft, grounding way, a way that tells us both that we are safe, that we are seen, that we belong. I imagine the warmth of your laughter filling a room, the comfort of your silence, the security of your gaze meeting mine in understanding. These imagined moments are not fantasies. They are invitations, possibilities that the heart recognizes as truth before the mind does. Glimpses of what love can be when it is patient, steady, intentional, and tender. There is something sacred about anticipating someone with love. It is not possessive, it is reverent. It is not urgent, it is enduring. I have learned that the heart can hold someone fully, even before meeting them, and in that holding, the heart becomes a space of preparation. It becomes a space where love is practiced, refined, understood in its most gentle forms. The surprise waiting for you at the end of February is born from that sacred space, a space where love exists quietly, patiently, with no expectation beyond the wish to honor, to uplift, to bring warmth. I think about your future, about the life you're building even now. Perhaps you are pursuing dreams that feel distant. Perhaps you are nurturing music, passions that are unseen. Perhaps you are quietly healing from experiences that have left marks upon your heart. I want you to know that all of it matters, all of it is honored, all of it is seen. I do not seek to rush your journey nor to overshadow it. I seek to walk beside it in spirit, to prepare for the moment where presence meets intention, to hold the space for your heart to feel acknowledged and loved. The surprise is a small opening into that space, a gentle way to let you know that someone is thinking of you patiently, devotedly, tenderly before all else. Love in its truest form is not always dramatic. It is not always immediate. It often grows quietly, steadily, in the spaces between moments, in the pauses, in the unseen attentions, in the reflections that move a heart before it reaches the lips. The love I feel for you is of this kind. It is the kind that does not rush, does not demand, does not insist. It waits with patience. It hopes without anxiety. It prepares without expectation. And in that waiting, in that preparation, it grows stronger, more capable, more sincere, more able to honor you in ways that truly matter. The surprise at the end of February is a tangible reflection of that love, a moment where care and attention converge to meet you wherever you are, in the quiet, tender space of your heart. I imagine the moment you encounter the surprise, perhaps it will catch you off guard. Perhaps it will bring a smile that is unbidden. Perhaps it will make you pause and feel a warmth in your chest that you did not expect. Perhaps it will stir emotions you have been carrying quietly. Perhaps it will remind you that you are seen in ways that matter, that you are cherished for the fullness of who you are, not for what you do or what the world expects. That is the essence of this moment. Not a performance, not a statement, not a fleeting impression, but a gentle recognition of your being, a recognition that travels across time, space, and imagination to reach you in sincerity and love. Even as I speak these words, even as I imagine these moments, I am aware of the depth of patience required by love. Waiting is not passive, it is active, intentional, enduring. Waiting is preparing the heart to be ready, to receive, to respond with awareness, with tenderness, with presence. In preparing this surprise, I have been learning the patience that love demands, the attentiveness it requires, the humility it asks. And in that preparation, I have come to understand more fully what it means to care, what it means to honor someone, what it means to let love exist in its most sincere, unobtrusive, and profound form. I have thought often about how love touches a life before it is even physically present, how it shapes thoughts, colors emotions, changes intentions, influences choices. And in thinking about you, I have come to realize that love is both gentle and powerful. It can move quietly yet transform profoundly. It can wait patiently yet arrive decisively. It can be small and simple, yet carry a weight that shifts the heart entirely. The surprise at the end of February is a manifestation of that quiet power, that gentle force, that steady devotion that moves unseen yet shapes the contours of the heart. I want you to imagine, for a moment, the feeling of being fully seen, fully honored, fully acknowledged. Not for what you do, not for what you achieve, not for the appearances you maintain, but for the essence of who you are. That is what the surprise is meant to communicate. That is what every thought, every preparation, every reflection that has gone into it has been about, showing you that your being matters, that your heart matters, that your life is precious and cherished. The end of February is not an endpoint. It is a gesture, a bridge, a way of saying that love exists, quietly, patiently, profoundly, and that it has found its way toward you. I want to begin by speaking softly, slowly, because there is a part of my heart that holds tenderness for you even before we meet. And those feelings deserve time, space, and attention. Sometimes love arrives in quiet ways, not in fireworks or grand declarations, but in the patient, unwavering awareness of someone's presence in spirit before it is fully realized in life. I carry you in thoughts, in hope, in the quiet corners of my imagination, and even in these unseen places, I have already learned to honor you, to celebrate you, to hold your heart with the gentlest care. The end of February will arrive soon, and with it, a surprise that is meant not as a show, not as a fleeting moment, but as an offering of something deeper, a recognition of your being, a reflection of the love that has been growing quietly in anticipation, a way to reach toward you before we even share space physically. I imagine you in ways that are intimate yet unobtrusive. I imagine the curve of your smile when you are lost in thought, the way your eyes soften when something touches your heart in a subtle way, the way your hands move when you are focused on something meaningful, the way your laughter escapes without effort when the world allows it to happen naturally. These are not mere fantasies. They are reflections of the respect, admiration, and affection I feel for the essence of who you are. I imagine the rhythms of your life, the quiet mornings when the world has not yet intruded, the moments of solitude that are your sanctuary, the small acts of care you show to those around you, even when they go unnoticed. All of these details, imagined or real, have been forming the foundation of this gesture, the surprise at the end of February, because it is born from the intimate knowledge that every part of you, seen or unseen, deserves recognition. Love, as I have come to understand it, is not about possession or urgency. It is about awareness, about patience, about holding space. It is about seeing someone not as the world defines them, not as society measures their worth, but as the intricate, fragile, beautiful being that exists in full complexity. It is about honoring every scar, every quiet strength, every vulnerability that has been carried silently. And I have been preparing to do that with you, in the spaces between now and the moment we meet, in the quiet reflection that shapes intentions and actions before they manifest. The surprise that waits for you at the end of February is a symbol of that awareness, a small bridge between thought and presence, a gentle way of saying that you are seen, cherished, and valued in ways that are real and enduring. I imagine your life, the daily patterns that create your rhythm, the moments of stillness you allow for yourself, the moments of joy you hold close to your heart. Perhaps you walk through a quiet street, watching the world unfold without demanding attention. Perhaps you linger on small details that others overlook. Perhaps you pause to reflect on things that weigh heavily, or things that inspire quietly. I want you to know that all of these moments matter, that the smallest details of your existence are significant in ways that are often invisible, but never unnoticed by someone who loves truly, patiently, sincerely. The surprise is not about changing your life or imposing upon it. It is about acknowledging it, honoring it, meeting it with the tenderness it deserves. I imagine your inner world, the dreams you carry, the fears you try to shield, the moments of quiet doubt that pass silently but deeply affect your heart. Love is not about dismissing these shadows or trying to replace them with light. It is about standing alongside them, acknowledging them, and offering a presence that allows them to exist without fear or judgment. The February surprise is meant to embody that love, not as an instruction or expectation, but as an offering of support, a gentle recognition that you are worthy of care, attention, and devotion. I hope it reaches you as a quiet affirmation that the world does not define your value, that your heart does not need to prove itself, and that someone has been holding a space for you, preparing to honor you with sincerity, patience, and love. Sometimes I think about the paradox of loving someone before meeting them. It is both fragile and strong, uncertain and certain, distant and intimate. It is a paradox that stretches the heart, that teaches patience, that inspires reflection and growth. It is the kind of love that waits without expectation, that prepares without urgency. And it is from that space that the surprise emerges, from the patient, quiet, unwavering dedication of a heart that knows the depth of the connection it has imagined and is committed to honoring in the moments when it becomes real. I imagine the first time you experience this surprise. I imagine the pause, the small intake of breath, the subtle warmth that spreads through your chest as the realization settles in. Perhaps it will make you smile, softly, unexpectedly, the kind of smile that comes from recognition rather than performance. Perhaps it will bring tears, the quiet kind that speaks of relief, of joy, of the long awaited acknowledgement that someone has been thinking of you, deeply, sincerely, patiently. I imagine the subtle transformation of a moment, how it can linger in your memory and your heart, as proof that love exists in gentle, deliberate, thoughtful ways. That is what this surprise is meant to do, not to overwhelm, not to impress, but to awaken a sense of being seen, valued, and cherished in ways that matter more than words can fully capture. I imagine the long journey that has brought you to this point, the moments of triumph, the moments of sorrow, the moments where the world felt heavy and unfair, the moments where you carried yourself with quiet dignity despite everything. I want you to know that every part of your journey matters. Every moment has shaped the person you are, and the love I feel honors not just your present, but the depth of your past, the courage you have demonstrated, and the resilience you have cultivated. The surprise at the end of February is a reflection of that acknowledgement, a tangible reminder that you are valued for your whole self, not just the parts you show to the world, or even the parts you allow others to see. I imagine the life we might share, not as a fantasy, but as a possibility rooted in the patience and intention that love demands. I imagine quiet mornings, where presence is enough, where words are few but meaningful, where the comfort of proximity is its own joy. I imagine evenings where conversation flows naturally, where laughter is gentle, where understanding does not require explanation. I imagine moments of support, when life feels heavy, when challenges arise, when fears resurface, and yet love remains steady, reliable, and wavering. The surprise is a precursor to this kind of life, a small step in the direction of presence, care, and intentional connection that grows naturally over time. I imagine the subtleties of your heart, the little things that bring joy, the quiet details that soothe, the nuances that make you who you are. I imagine honoring those subtleties, acknowledging them, recognizing them, and creating moments that reflect their value. The February surprise is not just about the event itself, it is about the recognition of your inner world, the celebration of the essence of who you are, the gentle affirmation that you are loved and cherished in ways that extend beyond the surface, beyond appearances, beyond expectation. I imagine the small acts of attention, the care and preparation, the thoughtfulness that can often go unnoticed but carries profound meaning. The surprise has been carefully cultivated with that understanding, with awareness of the depth and significance of intention. It is a reflection of the way love operates in its most sincere, delicate, and enduring form, through consideration, through patience, through a quiet but unwavering dedication to honoring someone fully, wholly, without reservation. I imagine the moments after you experience the surprise, how it might touch your heart, how it might linger in memory, how it might inspire reflection on the care and thought that brought it into existence. Perhaps it will spark a sense of hope, a feeling of being valued, a quiet recognition that love exists in ways that are gentle, steady, and deeply meaningful. That is the intention behind every detail, every choice, every thought that has gone into this moment, to reflect a love that is sincere, patient, and attuned to the nuances of your being. I imagine the ongoing connection, the continued awareness, the quiet devotion that extends beyond a single moment. Love is not about one time gestures, it is about consistency, about mindfulness, about presence, about honoring someone through actions